Okay, good morning everyone. Just to give a quick introduction to myself, my name is Andre Millwood and I am into digital marketing and e-commerce. Now, it's a wonderful time in Jamaica. We have products such as QMall coming out, and I just want to speak succinctly on what you need to do outside of just setting up your QMall. Setting up your QMall is going to bring you the customers, and that's what's important. It's important to have the QMall because that's where you bring customers to show your wares, to show your products, to collect payments. But how do you get the customers in the first place? And that's what I'm going to spend the next 14 minutes speaking about briefly, because there's a lot more that you want to consider. But at least I'm going to send you in the right direction. Now, first things first, you must have what we call a client acquisition strategy. I'm going to say it again. A client acquisition strategy. Now, to put this in layman's terms, as a Jamaican, how you get your customer them, how them even know you exist, how them know your product exists, how them know what your product or service do for them. Right? Now, to really put that and plan that out, we use what we call a digital funnel. I use the word digital here mainly because we're talking about the e-commerce solutions, namely QMart. But a funnel, not being digital, is applicable outside of your digital outlay as well. Now, there are steps to a funnel, or I actually prefer to use the model of the value ladder, which is you carry somebody up the ladder of the value that your brand or business provides. Now, at the base level of your ladder, you want to have what we call lead generation. Lead generation is you collecting a list of potential customers. These are persons that you'd have identified to be within a certain demographic, whether it is age, whether it is gender, whether it is the industry or career that they're in, whether it is the type of entertainment they like, whether it is their psychology. These are demographics. Apologies. These are demographics that you outlay, and you must do this because I must speak to this. If you try to market to everybody, you market to nobody. That is a rule in marketing. So when you do this with the lead generation, well, what's next? You need to have what we call lead magnets. These are things that will attract a potential lead and potentially allow them to get some value and then in turn return value back to you. And this value in the beginning phase is usually as simple as just providing you that email address. Why does an email address? Because of what you do with the email address next. The next step in your ladder, that next step is what we call qualifying prospects. So yes, your leads are the list of prospects, but not every one of them is a potential customer. Many of them may not fall directly into your demographic. So someone may be interested in your product and maybe you're a man, but maybe they're not within the salary range to be able to afford your solution. Not yet at least. Therefore, you have a qualifying prospect to tell, okay, and especially from an e-commerce perspective, you want to qualify prospects mainly to see if they have a credit card and if they're willing to use that credit card to spend with you. So you give them something to inject that credit card information to qualify them to see if they're really serious about doing business with you. After you qualify that prospect, and qualifying prospects can be as simple as having a free book, an ebook, no, not an ebook, my apologies, having a book, like a paperback book now, and relating to them that in order to get it, they need to cover the shipping. And the shipping is usually negligible of a cost, somewhere between $15, $30, something like that. But the fact is, if somebody is willing to spend that and get your free book, you know that they're serious about you. Now, if you were, let's say, a regular bookseller and that free book is just a teaser, then you can now move them up to the actual sale, that conversion, where they're buying your actual book or buying your content or paying to be in your course, whatever the type of business you have. Above that is where you get into what we call cross-selling, upselling, and then at the top of the ladder is your high ticket item. That's your most expensive value proposition, your highest value, and usually that's definitely for like 10 minimum, underneath 10% of that lead list. So if you have 1,000 persons, you're not getting more than maybe 10, if so much, getting that high ticket item. So you make sure you price that right. So when you do get those high ticket sales, they're worth it. Now, outside of that ladder, now, everything I just said, you can imagine drawing in a literal ladder and putting it at the different steps. But underneath that ladder, I wanted to draw an arrow that is pointing both ways, kind of like how you have an X and Y on a chart. And that is what you want to now put what we call recurring revenue, as well as / recurring value. So this is where you have something set up where you're continuously giving value and somebody is continuously giving you money, whether it is monthly, whether it is annually, whether it is quarterly or whatever period. Now, jumping off of the funnel now, speaking more to going back to the overall idea of customer acquisition. What do you do? And many of the persons watching this will either have a small business or a new business that they're going to start. Now, I'm going to speak plainly with you now. Social media is not the land of opportunity as it used to be. Still is, but not as it used to be. There is a paid barrier to entry, and you must appreciate it, you must budget and plan for it, and you must use it. You must consider to have a paid strategy. Let us say if you're using Instagram, and then again utilizing your demographics as well, doing your keyword research, and then putting those ads out there. And what's most important, test your ads. Don't just make one ad and put it out there and do a Hail Mary, and when it doesn't work, you're like, okay, digital marketing doesn't work. Firstly, you're just not doing what you're supposed to be doing. There is no set rules as to a template or anything per se that works. You have to do testing. You have to test different ad copy. You have to test different captions as ad copy. You have to test different images. Does graphics work? Does text work? Does an image with no graphics or text work? Does an image of your product alone work to get in those conversions? Test these, have different ad sets, budget it out, and then when you do see an ad set that performs, you put the money behind those. When you do that now, you don't rely on organic reach. Now, by organic reach, for those that don't understand the term, that is what happens when you just post. You have your profile, you just post, and you might reach, let's say you have 1,000 friends, and you realize that you get like 15 likes, 25 likes. If you're lucky, and it's a high quality post, and it's posted at the right time, you might get 100 likes. Yeah? No, you want to go above that. You want to get like 5,000 people, 10,000 people. And if you have a budget, you can get that reach, and you can potentially get sales. Now, I want to speak on why this client or customer acquisition strategy is so beautiful. What happens if you know the cost of getting one customer? Let us say you know that getting one customer costs you $5, or getting 15 customers costs you $5. I'm going to stick with $5. So 15 customers, $5. Now what if per customer, remember 15, your product maybe costs 5,000 Jamaican dollars. The previous numbers were US, by the way. Matter of fact, forgive me, let me stick with US. So let us say per customer, they are spending $5. Do the maths, that's 15 times 5. But if you spend $5 and you get the results of 15 times 5, I don't really want to do the maths right now. You guys can do the maths. If you're doing business, you do the maths. I don't do it in my head. Then, you know how much it costs you to get that amount of revenue. You know how much it costs you to get that much customers. And now you know how much money you need to invest, how much time and resources you need to invest to earn. I don't think I need to speak on this anymore. I'm actually within 15 minutes. Now, I'm going to use the opportunity to speak on some things outside of that, from an e-commerce perspective. Please appreciate beauty in brands. Your logo must be something. Don't try to sell everything in your logo. Your logo should just be an icon that persons can see and used to identify your business. It should not tell the story, not in itself. It should not set the brand message. It should not tell what your products and services are about. It shouldn't tell that your business is in Jamaica or in New Kingston or Montego Bay. No, none of those things. None of those things. Your logo is supposed to be an icon that when you see it, persons can then recollect those things that you have communicated outside of that. So how do you communicate those other things? Let's just say you have your social media page. You ensure that messaging comes out in your different posts. Your content, it comes out on your website. It comes out on, if you're going into the physical world, your print, your flyers. And it comes out in, let's say, when you do videos and you speak on it, or when you're just speaking to a person in front of you. That is where those things come about. So when they now see your logo, they will recall that information. So I went into branding a little bit there. And I want to tell you that the beauty of your brand is very integral to your success. Do not downplay it. Now I'm not going to tell you that if you can't afford the high level beauty, but at least try to find that beauty at low level, and then you plan accordingly as your business grows to increase upon the beauty of your business. That being said, I want to thank QMall for inviting me to speak on this. Wish everybody the best of luck. Make some money this Christmas and going into 2021. I wish you all the best. Bless up.